Hi there, welcome back to the channel, thanks for joining me. Well, today we continue our little journey into the models of yesteryear, the Matchbox classic kits, and we're looking at the armour at the moment. So why not dive in with the wonderful Comet A-34 Mark I tank. Now this, I can't remember actually, honestly, if it was the Firefly or this that I had first, but it was definitely the two of them were the first two I ever had, and it went together beautifully as a kit and really enjoyed it. I thought it was quite, again, iconic artwork from Roy Oxley on the front in the Battle of Germany, and of course it says it comes with a diorama, battle display, etc. And I have to confess that yes indeed, you might have guessed it, I actually built one of these, and here it is. This is actually just a few months ago, just purely for fun during the lockdown period, and I deliberately didn't paint it. I just wanted it to look exactly like I did back in 1974, 75 I think it was. Now this particular boxing that we have here today is actually a 1986, it's a later boxing, but the appearance on the front is absolutely identical. It's just on the rear it looks different because they have this later, rather nasty I think, barcode. Instead of having the nice window showing the kit inside, they have this horrible barcode, and this is when, just before they went and sent it off to China, made and printed in England. Well, about a year later they were making them in China, probably for cost reasons I think, because I think the Lesney, around that time the Lesney factory shut down. Anyway, it shows on the back the finished kit, pretty much as you see my version, although I haven't even bothered to put decals on it yet, so I'll have to get around to them one day. But that's how it looks obviously. On the top, as is common with the armour kits, they have this system of showing you the tank in its proper camouflage colours. Shows a break in the barrel there just to save space, of course. It doesn't really have a break in the barrel, but that shows you how it should look if you're going to paint it up. On the other side, typical again, lots of adverts for their other products. So we've got the Humber armoured car, Panzer III, Panther, and the Sherman Firefly, which I think we saw in one of my other videos. So why don't we have a look at what's inside the box and take a little stroll down memory lane again. Here we go. So, whoops, there we are. Now then, so there's two sprues plus the tracks as normal. And interestingly, straight away I've noticed something that's different, is that they've got a different coloured plastic, especially for the wheels and the base for the diorama. First and foremost though, we've got our decals. Let's have a look at these. So we've got the 2nd 5 for 4 Fire Yeomanry, or on this side we've got the 22nd Armoured Brigade, which I think is the one that's depicted on the cover. No, it is the 5 and 4 Fire Yeomanry, it's the way around, okay. Those decals look pretty much new, to be honest. I'm sure they'd work absolutely fine. Again, giving away that it's a late generation issue of the kit. This has got the white, not purple, like the early ones had, instructions, and on the rear, same format where they show you how the decals are applied and which ones to apply for which tank squadron. Long John Silver, that sounds cool, or St Andrew, you've got great choices. On the inside it shows you the camouflage guide here, plus 1 or 2 parts that they recommend you pre-paint, just the guns basically, and the tow cables, and that's really it. And then it tells you about the 3 or 4 paints that you'll need. And then we get into the main construction. So again, it's not a bathtub style, it's a bottom and sides that you build up into a tub with a rear wall. Then you build up your wheels and your little return rollers, which are characteristic of this tank. I think the Centurion was the same from memory, wasn't it? Then we get into attaching those into the actual chassis, and then we're going to put the drive rollers on and the idlers and put your rubber band style tracks on. Then we're building up the turret, and we've got some side armour plates, we've got the mantlets, the gun going in plus the machine gun, and then ultimately you're going to bring that and the the top of the engine cover onto the top of the hull, and the front sort of glacis panel protection for the driver and the machine gun mantlet goes in there too. Bring your turret down, don't glue it, because you've got a little pivot and washer system which you do glue at the other side. But that enables the turret to swing, obviously. And then finally, once you've brought them all together, you've got your completed tank, and you build your little diorama. It just involves putting a twig into it, basically, into some flattened, cratered earth over which the tank will drive. So, let's just move my finished example. A very basic example, not exactly the cutting edge of my quality of models, is it? But just a fun build. That I just wanted it to look like a Matchbox and to feel like it was 1975 all over again. Anyway, we've got our we've got some rubber band tracks, and these are not the best quality I've ever seen. They're not as good as one of the other ones we just reviewed. These are a little bit, a bit warped and a bit nasty, which some of them were. So they're not the best quality I've ever seen. Now here is the change. If you look, I should bring my model back in the background because it's quite pertinent. So that's the original colours the way they appeared, but this later issue has got this rather strange sort of a greeny ground. It's almost like a mossy colour, and obviously it's like a pool of water. You can have it as a puddle in the middle, so you could paint that. And there's another, I think the Humber comes with a similar diorama where there's a puddle, and you just need to paint it up to make it look, animate it a bit, and that would certainly do it. Anyway, so obviously the wheels, because they're the same sprue, the wheels are this same sort of palish green, sort of mid-pale green colour. It's kind of like fern green, I think I'd call that, but anyway. So you've got a whole lot of wheels to assemble. You've got the idler return wheels, you've got the drive sprocket wheels, and then another set of the inner wheels here, with your tension stroke return rollers that go across the top. Then, the sort of other sprue, we've got the camera's zooming in too much. We've got the floor here, and then we've got obviously the top of the hull, including the tow cables you can see there. But it's good the way they've made this a bit more unitary and a bit more modular. They've gone and got the engine cover as a separate piece, so you put that in, which makes it a bit more to it. Got the back here, back plate, back wall I should say, and then of course you've got your turret here, which is pretty detailed in fairness, and not bad. There's not a whole lot to see on there apart from the moulding of the cupola surround for the hatch, and then finally we've got the gun here, and then one or two small parts like the retaining pivot shaft for the actual turret and hatch. Again, it's a shame they didn't put a figure in with it. I think it always looks better if they have a figure or two. A commander standing up, leaning out to the top of the hatch would have been cooler. But other than that, it's what you'd really expect. You've got your the glasses here with the machine gun port and the driver's port there. And there we have it. So that's the A-34 Comet Mark 1. It's a nice kit, it's quite decent. Let's just bring this in a little bit more so you can see a little bit more detail just before we go. Here we are. Yeah, it's a nice tank, You would want to perhaps paint it a bit more than I have, but this was knocked together in about an hour and a half, so it was almost against the clock speed build during one of the lockdowns during the summer, so just a bit of fun really. And there we have it. A very, very nice meaty British tank. At last Britain had got a tank that could take on the Tiger, and of course it came in 1945 for the Battle of Germany, and it had a big impact actually. Just beating the Centurion, which actually I think that came into the war about a week from the end of the war, didn't have a chance to make any impact, and that was like the next generation of tanks. But anyway, there we go. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you thought the review was interesting. Again, another stroll down memory lane. Some of you might find it quite nostalgic, I think. If you did enjoy it, please give us a like, share or subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Tick the notification bell because we've got lots of these to review, plenty more to come up for you to see. And I think we're probably going to get into the new year, we'll get a few more of these out and we can have another trip down the classics sort of road of good memories of our childhoods. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. Thanks for joining me, and be careful. Cheers. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.